हरिओम। चांड शांति मंत्र। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागंसस्तनूभिः विषेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। So we are seeing this fourth question. So the first question about how this whole world came into being, all this praja, from where they have come. Then what are the various devatas which hold this body together, and who among them is the Mukhya Devata. Then when one goes to sleep, what is the third question? From where prana has come and how it divides itself and holds this body together. And now we have this fourth question, very important, and that is that when one goes to sleep, who goes to sleep? What are the various factors which goes to sleep? And who remains awake? And who sees the dream? And for whom is this sukha? And where everything ultimately abide in? Where are they located? Where do they abide? All these various factors. So, it is said that when everything, all these faculties, when they go to sleep, the prana remains awake. And that is described with the help of this Agnihotra karma. Just as one constantly performs that Agnihotra karma, so this Agnihotra of this prana is going on. And every day when one goes to deep sleep state, this Udana Vayu takes the mind to that Brahma. Means when we are in deep sleep state, we are abiding in that Brahma itself, that supreme reality, or Ishvara. This is very important. So, sa yada tejasa abhibhuto bhavati yatraisha deva swapna na pashyati atha tad etasmin sharire etat sukham bhavati. One experiences complete sukha when we are not even dreaming. We are in the state of bliss itself. Whether a person is young, old, knowledgeable, or what you call not knowledgeable, ignorant, rich, poor, whatever be the background, when we are in deep sleep state, we experience bliss. We don't experience any limitation. when we wake up from our sleep, we remember our sleep. There is a memory of that sleep. There is a knowledge that I was there. So I remain there in the form of knowledge, in the form of bliss, without any limitation. That is the very nature of that Supreme Brahma. So this is a very important experience which helps us to come to comprehend that Supreme Reality. So how everything abides in that Brahma, that is now indicated with the help of an example in the 7th mantra. So let us chant the 7th mantra. Sayatha somya vayamsi vaso vriksham sampratisthante evam havai tat sarvam para atmani sampratisthate. It says that just like the birds, sa yatha somya, oh my dear student, ki just as vayamsi means birds. See, birds during the day, early in the morning, they get up and they start moving in different directions. And then in the evening, they come back to their homes, to the tree where they roost. That is called Vaso Vriksham, where in the Vriksha where they have their nivas, they come back to their tree. In the evening and all, you must be seeing these birds flying in different direction, but then finally they come back to their source. And then they make a big halla gulla, big noise there for some time. Maybe they convey to each other their day's experience, where they went and how many worms they had for lunch. And then suddenly they are quiet and totally silent. One cannot differentiate in the evening between the birds and the tree. They become totally one. You don't even know that the birds are there. But they are there. But they have become absolutely one with the tree. So they reside on the tree. And in the morning, again they come out and fly in different direction. In the same way, when all these our senses, the karmendriyas, the jnanendriyas, the mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all of them are like birds. They fly in different direction during the day, or when we are in dream, all these senses are functioning in their respective fields. But when we are in deep sleep state, all of them, they So when we go to sleep, all the senses, all the faculties, they come and they reside in that Supreme Brahma. Potentially, the individuality remains. Potentially, all the differences which we see in this world are there in that Brahma. Because Brahma is the very cause of this entire cosmos. So we remain in that state of bliss. And when we wake up, again all the different names and form, all the different faculties, they also wake up. Exactly from deep sleep state, how we come into this manifested and variety and different this variegated names and form wala world, we can't explain. It is a mystery. But it happens. So evam havai tat sarvam para atmani sampratisthate. So everything resides in that Param Atma, the Supreme Brahma. So what are the various factors which abide in that Brahma? That is now said in the next mantra. The details are given. Prithvi cha prithvi matra cha apaschapo matra cha tejascha tejo matra cha vayuscha vayu matra cha akashascha akasha matra cha चक्षुश्च द्रष्टव्यञ्च श्रोत्रञ्च श्रोतव्यञ्च घ्राणञ्च घ्रातव्यञ्च रसश्च रसयितव्यञ्च त्वक्च स्पर्शयितव्यञ्च वाक् च वक्तव्यञ्च हस्तौ च आदातव्यञ्च उपस्थश्चानन्दयितव्यञ्च पायुश्च विसर्जयितव्यञ्च पादौ च गन्तव्यञ्च मनश्च मन्तव्यञ्च बुद्धिश्च बोद्धव्यञ्च अहङ्कारश्च अहङ्कर्तव्यञ्च चित्तञ्च चेतयितव्यञ्च तेजश्च विद्योतयितव्यञ्च प्राणश्च विधारयितव्यञ्च. What are the various factors which go to sleep, which abide in that Supreme Brahma? Here is given the list of the entire world. Everything. Prithvi cha, Prithvi matra cha. Prithvi, the earth, these are the 5 elements. Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. And that Tanmatras. Tanmatras are the subtle aspect of these 5 elements, or you can say the characteristic of these 5 elements. Like Prithvi, the characteristic of Prithvi is smell. So that is the Tanmatra. So Prithvi cha Prithvi matra, apascha apo matra, then apaha, that is water, and the water matra is taste. Then teja, fire, and fire matra is sight. Then vayuhu, and vayu matra is touch. And akashaha, and akasha matra is sound. All this abide in that Supreme Brahma. Then chakshuscha drashtavyancha, then eyes and all that is seen through the eyes. Then ears and all that is heard. Ghranam, that is nose and all that we smell. Rasa, that is the tongue and all that is tasted. And tvak, the skin, sense of touch, and all that is touched, the object which are touched. And vakcha vaktavyancha, then the organ of karmendriyas are mentioned here. Vak, speech and all the that is spoken. Then hand and all that is held. Then hastav cha adattavyancha, then upastha cha anandayitavyancha, then the genital organs and the pleasure. Then payuhu, the excretory organ and all that is excreted. Then padav, the legs and the walking. Then mind and all that is taught with the mind. Then buddhi and all that is comprehended with the buddhi. Then ahankar and the function of the ahankar. that is to create the sense of I, the thought I. Then chitta and chetayitavyam, chitta and its function of retaining the memory, etc. And tejaha, the brilliance of these senses and that which is revealed. So tejascha vidyotayitavyancha and pranaha. Here it is said, prana also, along with all that is held by this prana, all of them abide in this Brahma alone. See, one who has gone to sleep, that person is totally has become one with Brahma. Those who are awake, they see the variety of names and forms. They see the person's body still lying down there. They might see the body breathing and all the circulation, digestion, everything is happening. But subjectively, the one who was watching, observing this world in the waking state, one who was the seer of the world in the dream, has become one. He is abiding, not has become one, but is abiding in that Supreme Brahma, just as the birds abide on the tree, they roost on the tree. The person is abiding in that Brahma. All differences, all names and forms, everything has become only that Brahma alone. So this is a very important factor which one has to remember and understand. Further, he says, Esha hi drashta sprashta Shrota ghrata Rasayita manta Bodha karta Vijnanatma purushaha Sapare akshare Atmani Sampratisthate. See, it was said that all this prana as well as rai, all of them abide in that Supreme Brahma. But what about the seer of this world, who is different from this prana and rai, who is the sakshi of this prana and rai? See, there is, for example, this body is there, and what we see as this world, both of them, everything is being pursued by something different from all this. And that is that self in us, what is called the kshetrajna. So in Gita also Bhagavan says, Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramityabhidiyate etad yo vettitam prahuhu kshetrajneti tadvidaha. Is called kshetrajna, the seer of the body, the seer of this world, which is the Supreme Self alone. That Supreme Brahma, which is also called Atma, is experience or is the experiencer of this world in Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti Avastha. That Atma alone is the experience of this world, experiencer of this world in Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti. In the Jagrat Avastha, that Atma alone is called Vishwa. Vishwa is not this world, but the seer of this world. It's also called Bahishprajna, the seer of the external factors. Same Atma in the dream state is called Antaprajna or Taijasa. And in the deep sleep state is called Prajna. So Atma alone is Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. I hope you are understanding what I am saying. Those who have heard the other Upanishads and all will know. So this Prajna is the Sakshi, the seer of this world. That Prajna alone becomes, as Antaprajna sees the dream, and as Bahishprajna sees the waking state. It is Atma alone as Prajna, seer of the dream, the waking, and also the Sakshi of the deep sleep state. Even when we are in deep sleep state, we know that. We are aware of it. Therefore, when we wake up, we say that I slept well, I was very happy, I did not know anything. Means the knower was there who did not know anything. The knower was there. Just as we use our phone, mobile phone. Suppose I want to contact someone. This is not a mobile, but just, otherwise you might think that a new model has come. So, if I want to contact someone, I use the mobile. I speak to that person. But the mobile is not speaking. I am speaking. Mobile is not talking. I am talking. It is just an instrument. When I keep that instrument down, the speaker, the one who was speaking, is still there. But the vapor, the activity of speaking is not happening. Similarly, when I am awake, I know the world with the help of our senses. I know the world with the help of my buddhi, I think. So who knows the world? I know the world. In the deep sleep state, the buddhi, the mana, the indriyas become shanta. But the knower of this world is still there, awake. He doesn't go to sleep. Therefore, when I wake up, I remember that state. I say I slept very well. I was very happy. But I identify with this body, mind, intellect, and I feel that since they were not functioning, I feel that I did not know anything. But I knew that nothing also. I was the knower of nothing also. So this is a very subtle point which one has to understand. So that prajna is indicated here as Vijnanatma. So Esha hi drashta, he is the drashta, the seer. Through the eyes I see. Sprashta, the one who feels. Shrota, one who hears. Ghrata, one who smells. Rasayita, one who tastes. Manta, one who thinks, feels. Bodha, one who understands. Karta, one who performs action. Who is he? Vijnanatma, the intelligent self, the prajna, who is called prajna. That prajna alone is the seer, the hearer, the taster, the knower, the thinker, with the help of these instruments. When he is not using the instrument, he remains there. So that prajna, who is the karta, bhokta, jnata, is also called jiva. And this karta, bhokta, jnata, he becomes because of the upadhis, because he is seen and through the upadhis, the conditioning. But without the upadhis, in that shuddha, nirupadik avastha, without the upadhis, this karta, bhokta, jnata, prajna or jiva is that Brahma itself. There is no difference between that jiva and Brahma. So Vijnanatma Purushaha, this Vijnanatma Purushaha, he also sapare akshare, in that supreme akshara Brahma, Atmani, which is also called Atma, Shuddha Atma, Sampratishthate, he abides there. Just as the birds abide, this supreme, in that supreme Brahma, this prajna, the jiva also abides. And again, when wakes up, then identifies with the body, mind, intellect, and performs the various activities in this world. You think about this and try to understand. Further says, Parame vaksharam pratipadyate sayo havai tad achayam ashariram alohitam shubhram aksharam vedayate yastu somya ससर्वज्ञ सर्वो भवति तदेश श्लोकः. So that Brahma in which one abides when we are in deep sleep state. See, what we experience where we abide in deep sleep state, that we have to recognize even while we are awake. That is our sadhana. That is our purushartha. That while awake, we have to recognize this state, this Brahma. So, parame eva aksharam pratipadyate sa yo havai. So, this pradnya or jiva attains that parama eva akshara, that supreme akshara Brahma only, if he recognize it. If it is recognized with the help of the scriptures through Shravana, Manan and Nididhyasan, when we come to comprehend this Brahma, then Parame eva aksharam pratipadyate. He comes to identify with that Brahma, know that Brahma, which is tad achayam. So the description, indication of this Brahma is given here. It is achayam. Chaya here shadow, which represents ajnana, avidya. In that Brahma, then there is no avidya. Because of this avidya, anadi avidya, one considers oneself as a jiva and thinks that one is limited, one is bound. One identifies with the body, mind, intellect and performs the various activities in this world. But in that Supreme Brahma, there is no avidya. So it is achayam, free from this avidya. Ashariram, there is no body in that Brahma. No objects, no body, no names and forms, no world, no jivas. That Brahma alone is there. There is no differentiation of any kind in that Supreme Brahma. See, like we have, let us say, a lot of gold ornaments of different shape, different size, having different names, and which are used in Vyavhar in different ways. Some of them we put it on our head, some on our neck. Some people they have on their lips and ears and everywhere, nose and So when we look at them as, suppose a ring is there, gold ring. So if I say that this is a gold ring, this is a ring, then it is a right statement. If I say it is gold, that is also right statement. But when we say I have put this gold in my ear or gold in my hand or gold in my... So I give some name to them. I say I have put some necklace in my ear, some bangles. So when we have to talk about Vyavhar, we have to differentiate them in terms of names and forms. But when we look at them only as gold, then there is nothing other than gold. If you just have gold drishti, then there is nothing other than gold. Everything is gold alone. Similarly, in that Brahma drishti, there is nothing other than Brahma. All the differentiation merges, disappears. So therefore it is ashariram, alohitam, not of any color, devoid of any color. Shubhram, therefore it is Shubhra, absolutely pure. Aksharam, immutable. Vedayate, one who recognizes, one who knows this. And the method of knowing is, first we have to listen, Shravanam. Then we have to understand, Mananam. Once we understand it, we have to meditate on this understanding, so that slowly and steadily we gain abidance in that Brahma. We have to keep meditating till we gain abidance. That is called Nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is meditation done after understanding. Dhyana, that word is used for meditation without understanding. क्या कर रहे हो? ध्यान कर रहे हो? अच्छा, किसका? बंदर का. Because without understanding, without going through Shravan Manan, we cannot meditate on that Brahma. So without understanding, what we do is called dhyana. But after understanding, when we meditate, that is called Nididhyasana. Vedanta use the term Nididhyasana. So tat Shubhram Aksharam Vedayate, one who recognizes this, Yastu Soumya, O my dear student, Sa Sarvajnaha Sarvo Bhavati, that person becomes Sarvajnaha, becomes all-knowing, because he becomes one with that Brahma. Brahma is all-knowing, Sarvajna. Sarvo Bhavati becomes all, everything becomes all. Tadesha shlokaha. Regarding this, there is this shloka which is quoted from other portion of the Veda. So let us chant that shloka. Vijnanatma saha devaischa sarvaihi prana bhutani sampratishthanti yatra tadaksharam vedayate yastu somya sasarvajnah sarvameva vivesheti. He says, same thing what we have studied, learned in this chapter. He says, Vijnanatma saha, along with that Vijnanatma, that is the Pradnya, along with that Pradnya, Devaischa Sarvaihi, all the Devatas, means the senses, the organs of action, the organs of perception, the Manobuddhi, Chitta, Hankar, all of them are called Devatas. Devata means that which illumines. One who illumines is called Devata. Dyotanat Devaha. So our senses illumine the world. We come to recognize, even with my eyes closed, when I touch, it illumines. That word illumine is used not in the physical sense, but it makes me aware, gives me the knowledge of that object. So all these senses are luminous, they reveal the nature of this world. So therefore they are called Devata. So Devaischa Sarvai, along with all the Devatas, Pranaha, all the pranas, Bhutani, all the beings, Sampratishthanti Yatra, there where they abide, that place where all this abide, that is Brahma. See, again in the Upanishad, that Brahma is indicated as that from where all the world has come into being. Yato va imani bhutani jayante, ena jatani jivanti, yat prayanti abhisamvishanti iti. So that is that from where all this has come. In Taittiriya Upanishad we will be studying next month. So that Brahma is indicated as the very source of this Brahma, as the cause of this Brahma. So everything goes back to the cause. In deep sleep state, we abide in that cause. So prana bhutani sampratishthanti yatra tad aksharam vedayate. One who recognizes, one who realizes this Brahma, which is aksharam. Yastu saumya sa sarvajnyaha sarvam eva viveshiti. Such a person becomes sarvajna, all knowing, and sarvam eva avivesheti, and enters everything, becomes everything. Now we identify with the body, mind, intellect, and assume ourselves to be limited, though we are not limited, and we experience ourselves unlimited in deep sleep state. Everyone knows that I existed there, but I had no connection with my body, mind, intellect. In an unlimited form, I was there, but as soon as I wake up, I hold on to the body and I say, I am this body. So I am actually unlimited. So sarvam eva avivesheti. I enter everything. I pervade everything, and I become the knower of everything. So thus, this question was answered. So we have seen that the 6 disciples, they came to this teacher, each having their own question, individual question, but they remained for a year with the teacher, and after 1 year they asked their respective questions. But the questions are such that slowly, gradually becoming more and more subtle. So this 4th question is very subtle, and you need to contemplate to comprehend it. Now this 5th question is about upasana. See, if we don't understand that Supreme Brahma, the only reason is some impurity is still there in the mind. So we have to prepare our mind. It is said that only when we gain the right qualification, we will be able to comprehend this Brahma. And what are the qualifications? Nitya nitya vastu viveka, ihamutrata falabhoga viragaha, shamadamadi shat sampatti, and mumukshutvam. We had seen that in Tattva Bodh. So this sadhan chatushta it is called. This sadhan chatushta, if we don't have, we don't understand what Vedanta is saying. It goes above our head or below our feet or from the side. But if we have this sadhan chatushta, then it becomes easy to comprehend. But how to develop this sadhan chatushta? That we have to do by some initial sadhana, bahiranga sadhana, like karma, karma yoga, bhakti, upasana. These sadhanas are meant to develop these qualities in us. So in this particular question, which we will now study, the teacher talks about Omkara Upasana. This Upasana is also of a high nature, and if that Upasana is done in the right way, through that Upasana, what we can attain, that is also indicated. So let us read this question. 5th one. Atha hainam shaibhyah satyakamaha papracha sayo havai tad bhagavan manusyeshu prayanantam omkaram abhidhyayita katamam vavasatena lokam jayati iti. Atha, now, ha enam shaibhyah satyakamaha. This disciple who is Satyakam, the son of Shibi, shaibhyah satyakamaha, papracha, he approached the teacher and he asked this question. Ki, oh my dear Bhagwan, teacher, Sayo havai tad bhagavan manusyeshu prayanantam. What about that human being? Because this upasana can be done only by human being. Though some people try to teach their dogs and cats to chant Om and all, but the scriptures talk about upasana only for human being. So don't waste your time teaching them. So satyakamaha. So sayo havai tad bhagavan manusyeshu. So in human beings, when that person chants or does the Omkar upasana, prayanantam, till the end, till the body is dropped, till one dies. When a person does that upasana, Omkaram abhidhyayita, one who meditates on this Om, what exactly we'll see as we proceed. Katamam vavasatena lokam jayati iti, which loka does he attain? Because through upasana we attain loka. Through knowledge we attain moksha. Through karma we attain the karma phalas. And when we perform this karma with proper attitude, we acquire punya. Or if bad karmas are done, then papa. But through upasana, we attain some loka. Upasana is also done with knowledge. In upasana, there is a combination of knowledge and action. In upasana, not only the physical actions are there, but more subtle upasanas only involve the thinking and imagination. It is physical is less. It becomes more and more subtle. One has to use the faculty of imagination in upasana and our understanding. So knowledge is also required, and simultaneously we have to do the action of thinking and imagining and meditating. So it is a karma jnana samucchay. Together it happens. So the question is that what about that person who is doing this Omkar upasana throughout his life? Once he dies, where does he go? Kathamam vavasatena lokam jayati. Which loka does he attain? So this question is now being answered in this section. So let us see. Tasmai sahovacha etadvai satyakama param cha brahma yad omkarah tasmad vidvan etena eva ayatanena ekataram anveti. Tasmai sa hovacha. To him he said. Means to that disciple, the teacher replied, Ki he Satyakamaha, oh my dear Satyakam, this Omkar, what you are talking about, what the scriptures talk about, this Omkar is both Paramcha, Aparamcha Brahma. It's both. Through Omkar is indicated both the Param Brahma and Aparam Brahma. That Param Brahma is that Shuddha Brahma. What is we have seen in the previous mantra as Akayam or Achayam, Ashariram. That Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is called Param Brahma. And Aparam Brahma that I had mentioned. What is Aparam Brahma? One is meaning Vedas, but Aparam Brahma means Hiranyagarbha. You should remember everything. Whatever is taught, try to remember. So Aparam Brahma is Hiranyagarbha. He is called Apara Brahma. Aparam is lower. So Apara Brahma. So why that this Om, that sound syllable Om, is not only indicates Hiranyagarbha, but also indicates that Supreme Brahma. So if we meditate on that Omkar, depending on our understanding, we attain either the Aparam Brahma, means one goes to Brahmalok, or if one gains the right understanding, one can, with the help of Om, one can attain the Supreme Brahma also. This is there. Because both of them are represented by this Om. So, etad vai satyakama param cha brahma tad omkaraha tasmad vidvan etena eva ayatanena. Therefore, the vidvan, the wise seeker, taking the support of Om. Om is called support. Ayatanam, support. Etad ayatanam shreshtam. In Kathopanishad also we have seen. It's a support, subtlest support to comprehend that Brahma. This is the support, sound support. So when we just take it, depending on our depth of our understanding, it will give us that result. So tasmad etena eva ayatanena ekataram anveti. One attains either that Param Brahma or Aparam Brahma. If the knowledge is not a gain of that Om completely, and when we meditate, we attain that Apara Brahma. So how that Omkar Upasana has to be done? What are the different types in which that Omkar Upasana is being done? All this is described in detail in the following mantras. It's a very beautiful portion. So he says, Sayad ekamatram abhidhyayita satenaiva samveditah turnameva jagatyam abhisampadhyate tam richo Manushya-lokam upanayante satatra tapasa brahmacharyena shraddhaya sampanno mahimanam anubhavati. Sayad ekamatram abhidhyayita. Satene, it is said that one who meditates on this Brahma, on this Om, understanding one matra of the Om. See, Om is a very subtle sound symbol. Detail about it is given in Mandukya Upanishad. This is the name of Brahma. Brahma itself is indicated as Om. There is no difference between that which is uttered and that which is indicated. The name and that which is indicated by the name is same. So by that term Om, that Brahma alone, because that Om also has come from that Brahma alone. The source of Om is also Brahma. As we have seen, the source of all the Vedas is Brahma alone. So with that Om, that Brahma is indicated. Brahma itself is called Atma also. So the term Atma and Brahma means the same thing. In Mandukya Upanishad, this Atma is said that Atma is Om. And this Atma has got four aspects as though. Chatushpada. And these four aspects are Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti and Turiya. The self, that supreme reality, Atma, expresses in four ways. The Jagrat Avastha, Swapna Avastha, Sushupti Avastha and Turiya Avastha. it is in the waking state that Atma alone is the seer of this world. It becomes the seer, the Bahish Prajna, as I said. In the dream, that Atma alone is the seer of the dream. In the deep sleep state, that alone is the Prajna, the witness of the deep sleep state. And there is a fourth state which is not known, which one attains when one gains that supreme abidance. Otherwise, that fourth state is not known. It is avyavaharyam. There is no vyavahar in that. There is no transaction, doesn't happen in that state. In Mandukya Upanishad, the scripture talks about it as avyavaharyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyaya saram, shantam shivam, advaitam, chaturtham manyante. It is shanta, shivam, advaitam, one without a second. So that fourth has to be understood. In the sense, we have to attain that fourth. But what is there in our hand? This three. What we have is three, but we have to attain that fourth. So that Omkar indicates all these four. So there are four matras in Om: A, U, Ma, and A matra it is called. That silence is called A matra. So when we chant Om, in that word Om, in that sound Om, there is A, there is U, the rolling sound, and the Ma, that sound. So when we say Om, so A, U, and then the silence. So these three sounds and the silence represents all the four aspects of Brahma, of Atma. So A represents the waking Atma, that is the Vishwa, at the individual level, and Vaishvanara at the cosmic level, the Vaishvanara. Then the U represents the Taijasa, and at the cosmic level is a Hiranyagarbha. And the, which we say represents the Prajna and Ishvara. And the fourth one is Atma or Brahma. So when we understand this Om, when we through the teacher, through proper listening and contemplation, and understand the depth of this Om, that is the first step in Upasana. Upasana is first to understand that Om and then meditate on that understanding, taking the support of this Om sound. So when we only understand the A matra, that is the waking, we only understand myself as the waker, I only understand the waking world, and I can identify with that aspect of Om only, then my understanding is little. So when with that understanding, when I do the upasana of Om, the scripture says that yad etat ekamatram avidhyayeta satenaiva samveditah turnam eva jagatyam avisampadyate. When a person dies with this, he is immediately born again as a human being. Only with a matra, when we understand, with that understanding, when we meditate on Om, till the end of our life, when we die, we are again born as human being, and we continue with our sadhana. How do you know? Scriptures are saying. Then tam rucho manushyalokam upanayante. It again brings, when a person dies, the richa mantras of the Rig Veda, as though they again bring this person back into human birth. Manushyalokam upanayante sa tatra tapasa brahmacharyena shraddhaya sampannaha mahimanam anubhavati. And again he comes and acquires tapas. He follows the path of brahmacharya, gains shraddha. See, a lot of samskars we carry from our past lives. We are born with lot of samskars of our past lives. Because with the death of the body, our samskars don't die, they remain. And depending on the intensity of our samskar and the sadhana which we have done, with that type of samskar we are born again. And we continue our journey. It's like a person who is, let us say, who is on a yatra. He has left his home and on a yatra. So many places we stay for the night. Let us say we stay at one hotel. Then we get up in the morning and then we continue with the yatra, then stay somewhere else. Then again we get up, we go. We just keep on moving. One who knows all these days, suppose that person has taken some 1 month in his yatra, one who has got the understanding of the whole month, he can tell that fellow started from his home on January 1st. He roamed around all over the world and he came back on 31st Jan. So he knows. But one who knows only one day will not be able to comprehend. So our yatra is not of one lifetime. It's a long yatra. Sharira yatra. We have been taken this Sharira yatra for a long time. So when we, during our lifetime, whatever sadhana we do, wherever we have left, we continue in our next life. So this goes on and on till we attain the supreme state of enlightenment. Whether we remember, we don't remember, whether we accept, we don't accept, doesn't matter. Our yatra goes on. So one who only understands and meditates on Omkar, knowing only the first matra, dies and attains this world, Marte Loka, again, immediately. What about one who understands 2 matras, A as well as U? In the next verse it says, Atha yadi dvi matrena manasi sampadyate sontariksham yajurbhir unniyate somalokam sa somaloke vibhutim anubhuya punaravartate. So one who understands 2 matras, one who can identify with the self in the waking and dream, one who can comprehend that self and as A and U in that Omkar and meditates on that Omkar. Atha yadi dvimatrena manasi sampadyate, totally identifies with that 2 matras of this Om and does this upasana throughout his life without a break, continuously, means regularly. Saha antariksham yajurbhihi unniyate, when that person dies, that jiva goes through the Soma, to the Soma Loka, through that Dakshinayan, we have seen before, the Dakshinayan Marg. One goes to the Soma Loka. Soma Loka means goes to some Swarga Loka and all. And remains there experiencing the result of the Punya Karma. So Antariksham Yajubhihi, the Yajur mantras take that person there. Unniyate Soma Lokam. Sa Somaloke Vibhutim Anubhuya Punaravartate, and there remains there enjoying the results of his karma in that Swargaloka, the result of Upasana in Swargaloka. And once that Punya karma is exhausted, is born again. Kshine Punye Martilokam Vishanti. Once that Punya karma is over, that fellow is back into Karol Bagh. Continues with his शॉप और whatever. भाई साहब आप कहाँ थे? नहीं, कहीं गया था. So again comebacks. So that is the result of only. So that is what we see in this world. Many people are doing their sadhana, rituals, various types of practices, different types of paths, different religions, different things. Everything gets the result according to our understanding, according to the karma, according to the cosmic rules and laws. Just as in this, as we do some experiment in this world, so depending on the material used and all, we get the result. A chemical experiment we want to do, we will get the fixed result. Similarly here also, depending on our understanding, our faith, whatever type of karma we do, we gain that result accordingly. So one who has only the understanding of 2 matras of this Om and meditates on Om goes to Somaloka, that is Swargaloka, etc., through the Dakshinayan Marga, and there experiencing the joys and pleasures, again comes back to be born as a human being. Then what about those who know all 3 matras? And what about those who know the entire Om? That is being said now in the following mantra. Yaha punaretam trimatrena Om iti etena eva aksharena param purusham abhidhyayita sa tejasi surye sampannaha yatha padodarastva vinirmuchyate evam havai sapapmana vinirmuktah sasamabhihi unniyate brahmalokam sa etasmat jivaghanat paratparam purishayam purusham ikshate tadeto shlokao bhavatah. One who understands 3 matras of this Om, Om. One who understands the Jagrat, the Swapna and the Sushupti, Purush, the seer of the waking state, the seer of the dream, the seer of the deep sleep state, and one who has proper understanding of these 3, with this understanding superimposed on that Om, one meditates on that Om. See, we have to superimpose the idea. For example, if I take a stone and do the puja of that stone, it is the puja of that stone. But if I superimpose the idea of Ishvara, then it becomes Ishvara's puja. It is like our even our computers also. If we put the right address, then it goes to the right person. Even if one dot is missing here and there, it doesn't go. So, if we worship, therefore many people have the misunderstanding that they are doing the idol worship. Some people must be doing. They must be worshipping stone, so they get the result of worshipping stone. One who superimpose the idea of a little devata on that stone, then they get the result of the little devata. If they superimpose the idea of Hiranyagarbha on that stone, then they get the result, maximum Brahmalok. But one who superimposes the idea of that Supreme and meditates, attain the Supreme. Mad bhakta yanti mam api. In Gita also Bhagavan says that as one worships, so one reaches that destination. One who worships me attains me. So here it is said that one who knows three matras, ya punaha etam trimatrena om iti etena va etena eva aksharena. By this akshara om, one who understanding the three matras meditates on that param purusha. But since he knows only this three matra, maximum he knows Hiranyagarbha. Doesn't know that Ishvara, doesn't know Brahma. So with this three matra one who meditates, Purusham abhidhyayeta sat tejasi surye sampannaha. So after that he identifies with that surya, that is that prana, the cosmic prana, and reaches that Brahmalok. Evam havais sapapmanam vinirmukta Brahmalokam. He reaches that Brahmalok, becoming free of all his papa. Just as yatha padodaraha. Padodara is a snake. See, the snakes, they have this very interesting ability. They shed their skin and just glide out of their skin, like the skin remains there and the snake just moves out. Sometimes people just look at the skin and get scared. Ki saap hai. But that fellow has gone out of that skin. Yeah? Similarly, one who meditates on that Om and meditates on Hiranyagarbha becomes free of all sins and just walks out of that sin just as the snake walks out of that skin. So yatha padodara tvacha vinirmuchyate, it gives up its skin. Evam havai sapapmana vinirmuktaha. Similarly, this upasak, becoming free of all his papa, all his sins, sasamabhihi, guided by the sama mantras, goes to Brahmalok and there remains in the Brahmalok. And again the scripture says a very important thing which we can understand only through the scriptures, कि in that Brahmalok sa etasma jiva ghanat, taught directly by that Hiranyagarbha, who is also called Jiva Ghana, because that Hiranyagarbha alone is the self of all beings. Self means the Sukshma Sharir of all beings. The Hiranyagarbha is the Sukshma Sharir of all beings. See, our Sukshma Sharir is made up of Prana and Rai. This Prana and Rai is this Hiranyagarbha only. So that Hiranyagarbha is called Jiva Ghana, because he is the very abode of all the jivas. So in the Brahmalok, this taught by directly as though by the Brahmaji or this Hiranyagarbha, one comes to recognize that Parat Param Purushayam Purusham Ikshate. One comes to recognize that Param Brahma. So this is in our scripture, it is called Krama Mukti. We have seen these are all technical terms which are given in the scriptures. This is called Krama Mukti. Krama means in stage. So the first stage is through Upasana one reaches that Brahmalok, and there, having gained the knowledge of that Supreme Brahma, one attains moksha. So this Upasana doesn't give moksha directly. If one wants to be free here and now, it is possible through knowledge. But by the way, this Upasana is also mentioned here, because all of us are not having the same adhikar. People are of different capacity, they have different capacity and different levels of spiritual evolution. So the guidance is given in our scriptures for everyone. सबके लिए कुछ ना कुछ मार्गदर्शन है, for everyone. Even if a Buddhu comes, some guidance is there. नहीं, मैं बुद्धू से भी बुद्धू, आपके लिए भी है. मैं पापी हूँ, मेरे आपके लिए. इन गीता भगवान से अपि चेत सुदुराचारः भजते माम अनन्य भाग साधुरेव समन्तव्यः सम्यक व्यवसितो हि सः. Even if you are papi, you can also become free of all your sins if you follow this path. So one who knows this the three matras of Om and meditates reaches Brahmalok, and from there gains moksha. But one who knows the entire Om properly, completely, what is the result gain? That is said in the next verse. तीसरो मात्रा मृत्युमत्यः प्रयुक्ता अन्योन्यसक्ता अनविप्रयुक्ताः क्रियासु बाह्याभ्यन्तरम् क्रियासु बाह्याभ्यन्तर मध्यमासु सम्यक प्रयुक्तासु न कंपते ज्ञः. He says that this is a shloka which is quoted here, which conveys the meaning कि तदेतौ श्लोको भवतः तीसरो मात्रा मृत्युमत्यः. So he says that these three matras of Om, understanding only A, U, Ma, is incomplete understanding of that Om. Without understanding the significance of that silence, if one only knows A, U, Ma, it is incomplete understanding of that Om. And this incomplete understanding is mrityumatyaha. It is of the nature of mortality only. Means one is born again in this world, or one goes to Swarga and comes back, or one goes to Brahmalok. So that is also not the ultimate. Though from Brahmalok one attains the ultimate, but this three only gives the result which remains in a limited level only. So this tisro matra mrityumattah prayukta anyonyasakta anaviprayuktaha. What it says is that if it is used separately, if one doesn't comprehend its comprehensive meaning, then it becomes, it gives mortal result or perishable result. But one who understands that Om comprehensively, completely, and uses this Om's complete meaning, understanding in his sadhana, in his upasana, understanding kriyasu bahya abhyantara madhyamasu, understands the outer expression of Om as that bahish prajna, the waker, madhyamasu, the in between, that is the dreamer, and the antaram, that innermost, the deep sleeper. One who understands this comprehensively, the meaning of Om, and if we utilize it properly in his sadhana, in his upasana, then he comes to recognize that Supreme. And na kampate nyaha, having understood, na kampate, doesn't get frightened, doesn't tremble, doesn't get frightened. This is the shloka which is quoted. So what is mean is in this chapter, or in this answer to this question, it is about upasana, omkar upasana. One more shloka is there which we will see tomorrow. So this is about omkar upasana, and then the last question is about that Param Purusha directly, the knowledge of that Param. So we have seen in the first question that how through karma one goes to that Swargalok and comes back, and all the Uttarayan, Dakshinayan and all. So comprehensive picture of everything is given in this Upanishad. Everything in detail, the comprehensive picture, and the ultimate truth is also indicated. So that we will see in our class tomorrow. पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।